Warning, warning. This is not a test. Please retreat to your safe spaces. You are about to be exposed to common sense and reason. This is the Renegade Millennial Podcast.
All right. So, welcome to the Renegade Millennial Podcast. This is the very first podcast. I've got my co-host here, Kata, and I'm Ryan King. And I want to thank each and everyone for taking the time to interact with us live on Twitch and also listen to the rebroadcast either on YouTube or SoundCloud. Feel free to like, subscribe, leave a comment. We're also on Patreon, which is patreon.com/rmpodcast. So let me give you guys a little bit of a rundown on what this podcast is about. We live in an age where white is black, up is down, left is right, feelings have suddenly become science, and hypocrisy is the norm from one issue to another. Now, this podcast will most certainly make a few people uncomfortable, and it's bound to upset everyone. It's bound to upset quite a few people, okay? And so what we're going to do is we're going to try to understand where people are coming from. We're going to try to examine different stories, comment on different headlines coming out, and maybe let's try and figure out what the middle ground is or why it's important to talk about these issues coming up. We're not going to be on one side of the aisle. This isn't partisan politics. We're not going to play identity politics here. So another thing to mention is it doesn't matter where you stand in life. Everybody or some people or most people will either stand with you, they're going to stand against you. You're bound to upset someone no matter what. So I just want to make that clear, and we're not a politically correct podcast. I refuse to be politically correct. In fact, if you're looking at my background right now, you can clearly see that. It's the outrage. It's the addicted to outrage mentality that we've had. And so my hope is for this podcast is so that I can present this to younger generations or millennials like myself to help them better benefit and appreciate the times that we all came together and had a discussion and united rather than the times that we fought and divided each other, which I feel like is happening more and more ever since the 2015 opening of Donald Trump's saying, "I'm going to run for president." It's just been a firestorm of division in this country, even before then. So we'll examine some of those things, and then, when all is said and done, there's no winning for anybody if all we do is divide each other. So many of you will agree and also disagree with the commentary that you're going to be exposed to here. But I think that's what the beauty of our democratic republic is that we can argue, we can fight, we can have a civilized discussion, and ultimately come together to find a solution that everybody can live with. So we're going to take a look at some of today's and the most recent past week's controversial topics. We're going to assert our stance, and then we'll have an open discussion based on a foundation of reason and principles. I know that's hard to believe, but nobody's doing that. Nobody's having a foundation of reason and principles. So I'm not going to be presenting a popular opinion of any person, group, or special interest. The main thing I want to get across to everybody is we must stand together as a nation, unique in character, but equal in opportunity.